Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with our very first episode of A Deathly Desire. This is our limited series that we're running that is dedicated to the building, painting, and creation of our studio's 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army. And this is our very first episode. So in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about exactly what we plan on fielding for our 3,000 point army. We're going to take a look at the miniatures that we're using for it, pretty much the design concept behind it, and we'll also talk about what exactly makes up the army in terms of units, characters, equipment, that sort of thing as well. So if you guys have been following along with our channel, you will realize now that we are fully completed with the 3 Legion of Chaos armies. We have one dedicated to Zeech, one dedicated to Nurgle, and another one dedicated to Khorne, which we just got done recently with our Blood for the Blood God series. So now our Legion of Khorne army is completely finished, and the very last Chaos God that we need to make an army for is good old Slaanesh. Last but certainly not least, and as you can see, we have actually quite a bit of work ahead of us. This one is actually pretty large for a 3,000 point army, and the reason why is because Marcus Slaanesh for most units is actually really low. In case you're unfamiliar with Warhammer 8th edition rules, Marcus Slaanesh basically makes your units immune to panic, terror, as well as fear checks, which is really great to have in case you have a low leadership base unit. It's kind of like Beastmen, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And so because of that, you can actually field quite a bit. This army, just to let you guys know, is basically the idea behind it is to be a very fast moving army, to just kind of get in there and get stuck in as quickly as possible, and to bring the max amount of pain. And as you can see, it looks pretty cool so far. And the nice thing about this army too, in terms of work, I would say about a third of it's already painted actually. The difference though is that we just gotta base it is all we have to do, just rebase the ones that are pretty much painted, and then basically just focus on the ones that are not. So that's the nice part. This army should go very, very quickly. If I had to guess about how long it should take me to paint this army up, I would say about 2 months, maybe 3 on the far side. And, you know, given the current situation of the world, I'll have plenty of time to make that happen. So this is the next project we're working on for our army. This is all 3,000 points of it so far. So with that being said, let's go and talk about what actually makes up the army in terms of its units and its units composition. So with that, let's go and start with that part. Alright, so let's go and talk about unit composition real fast. So first of all, as you can see, we actually have quite a bit of cavalry in this army. And the reason why is because, like I said, the idea of this army is for it to be very fast and very fast maneuvering and just go across the table very quickly. Just to let you guys know, the way that I've kitted out this army, the slowest unit moves 6 inches is basically how it moves, right? And that's this huge unit here. They actually are usually movement 5, but I gave them the banner swiftness to give them movement 6. So these guys can cross the tabletop very, very quickly. Slaanesh is known for agility and speed, and that's exactly what I want to build in for these guys. So let's go and talk about that real quick. So first of all, for our first unit composition, we have 1 Chaos Chariot up here in the front. This is actually an old Games Workshop pewter Chaos Chariot. This was actually from the mid-90s, or late 90s actually, back when they first started releasing box regiments where you could actually do interchangeable parts. This is one of the very first ones they actually came out with. It's all pewter, except for the horses. The horses are actually plastic. But yeah, that's a pretty nice looking one there. We have a second chariot. This one is a Gorby's Chariot. So really excited about using that one real quick. I forgot to mention the names of these guys. First of all, this is the sign of self is what this is. It is a Chaos Chariot that is Mark Slaanesh. The second one is called Takala, the Denied One. For those of you guys who are, big, aficionados of Warhammer lore, especially from the 4th and 5th edition of Warhammer, that name should sound familiar. She was actually the champion of Slaanesh in that particular game set. But this is our Gorby's Chariot, to call it the Denied One. And then finally we have the Depravity of Enoch, which is another Chaos Chariot with a mark of Slaanesh on it, to give these guys immunity to panic, fear, and terror checks. That way they're just kind of running across the battlefield pell-mell. Now, afterwards, over here on the left-hand side, this is the Empty Orchestra. The Empty Orchestra is a unit of 24 Demonites of Slaanesh with Musician as well as Standard Bearer. Just a typical unit of Demonites. These guys actually, majority of them actually came from the Wrath and Rapture box set from the Realm of Chaos that came out. It was a game system that had Chaos, Demons of Khorne, and Slaanesh in it. So you see we have the Infernal Rapturous miniature. She's just more of a unit fill in this case to make this unit an even 24. It also came with 10 Demonites. We bought a box of Demonites as well, so that way we can field a full unit of 24 of these guys. Now the biggest unit, which is this huge honking one right over here, this is the largest unit that we actually have. This one's actually called the Beasts of the Midian is what it's called. The Beasts of the Midian is a huge horde formation of 50 Bestigors is what it's supposed to. Well, actually 45 Bestigors actually. So it is a huge honking unit of Bestigors. They're equipped with great weapons as well as heavy armor. The unit also is carrying the Banner of Swiftness as well, so that way they could be moved at 6. Traditionally, Bestigors only move at 5, which is actually pretty quick in and of itself, but we wanted these guys to go just a little bit quicker, so we gave them the Banner of Swiftness, that way they can get moved at 6 like everybody else. These guys are also really cool. They got the awesome Primal Fury special rule. They also got the the Spoiler special rule. So every single time they beat a unit, they gain additional bonuses, just all kinds of coolness as well. And then of course we have 2 characters. This guy here is the Bestigor Destroyer from the Spire Tyrants box set from what's it called? From Warcry. And that guy is called Zaydu Vorlas, the Night Cannibal. He's a Wargore of Slaanesh. He's also the armor. He's Battle Standard Bearer. He's also got heavy armor, great weapon. He's got Manbane and Primal Fury. He's also got the God special rule. He's got the Gnarl Hide for scaly skin, as well as the Beast Banner. So that way these guys are all strength 7 with great weapons, just tear through all kinds of stuff. And then of course this old classic Keeper of Secrets miniatures from the 4th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. That's actually a Doom Bull called Dejak the Overseer. It is a Doom Bull with the Mark of Slaanesh. It's got the Blood Greed as well as the Slaughter's Call, so that way these guys have Frenzy as well, so they get additional attacks. This guy's going to be equipped with Steel Claws, so that way he gets additional attacks. He's got the Ramhorn Helm, so that way he gets bonus Strength. He's also got the Stone of Spite, so that way arcane items explode around them, because I don't have any arcane items in this army as well. He's also got Gourd Tusk, so that way all of his attacks are armor piercing. Just a beast of a character, and he's leading this huge unit of Bestigors and just going to destroy everything that's in his path. Now, if you're wondering what these Bestigors are made out of, these are actually old school miniatures from a game called Battle Masters, is what it's called. So pretty much we got 2 types of units. First of all, we got the Beastmen miniatures that actually came from that box set of Battle Masters. I've managed to get 2 box sets of that game, and so because I was able to scrounge up 20 of these classic Beastmen with shields and axes. Then of course we have these guys back here, these cultist looking dudes, and these guys are actually conversion jobs. Originally these were archers called Chaos Archers in that game of Battle Masters. You got 10 of them. In this case I had 2 boxes, so I had 20. What I did is I cut off the arms and I've added new ones from different spare kits and bits and bobs that I had left over to make these guys have weapons and things. And of course I just kind of sculpted their chests, because usually they had arms that are drawn back. If you guys have been following our channel, and when I used to play Age of Sigmar, these guys were the Carrick Acolytes that I converted over to make these guys. And of course the other one of course is the classic Beastman with a halberd from the 4th edition of Warhammer Fantasy. I got a Lord of the Rings miniature on there because I picked that guy up on the cheap to use as a unit filler. So yeah, that is the Beasts of the Midian. A huge honking unit of Bestigors. Really looking forward to see exactly how those guys work out in battle. Alright, after that we have what's known as the unit known as the Flesh Carnival. So this unit here is a unit of 16 Forsaken of Slaanesh. Now I know what you're thinking, like, really? Commander Cheapskate, Forsaken? Yeah, Forsaken. I think Forsaken are kind of cool. And I want to see exactly what these guys can do in close combat. And they also have movement 6, which makes them really, really quick as well. Also located in that unit as well is my army's general. That is Telemach Lyris, the Masked Prince. He is a Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh. I'm not sure if I'm making him level 4 Laura Slaanesh yet, or level 4 Laura Shadows. I'm on the fence on that one, so I will get back to you on that one as well. Now, if you're wondering, he's also equipped with Chalice of Chaos, Talisman Preservation, Sword of Might. He's got the Allure Slaanesh, so that we have to take leadership tests to attack him. He's got Flaming Breath. He's also on a Demonic Mount with Barding, so it's all kinds of cool. He's in this unit as well. And this guy back here, that's the old Slamba miniature from Hero Quest, Chaos Warrior miniature, used as a unit filler. These guys, instead of using Forsaken miniatures, I actually had managed to buy a bunch of possessed Chaos Space Marines on the cheap secondhand from my local gaming store. So that's what these guys came from. I managed to get 15 of those dudes for like $20. It's actually pretty cool. Now they were missing some things like, backpacks, for example. They're missing the backpacks, and they're missing some limbs and things. And I get kind of creative with my conversions, but couldn't beat that deal, not for $10. So that's what I decided to use for these guys. Plus they look like very much like Chaos Warriors are actually mutated, so it's very, very cool as well. I'm looking really forward to using these guys in combat. After that, over here on the left-hand side, we have the Nightkin. The Nightkin's unit of 5 Hellstriders of Slaanesh because no army is complete without one. Now, I decided to equip these guys with just, there's no upgrades, no musicians, no standard bearer. These guys are just light, fast cab, chaff running guys. They're also equipped with spears. They're not equipped with health scourges or whatever it's called. And the reason why is because I want the +1 strength to charge. So just 5 Hellstriders. Then after that, we have the Slender Slaughterers. It is a unit of 3 Fiends of Slaanesh. These things are so horrifically nightmarishly cool looking. These guys came from the Rapture and Ruin box set like I talked about earlier. So I got 3 of those guys as well. And then finally we got the Resplendent Stalkers, which is a unit of 5 Seekers of Slaanesh. And I'm just running them without any upgrades whatsoever because these guys are fast cab as well. And then lastly but not least, we have a Demon Prince of Slaanesh as well. This guy is actually not in the army per se, the list. He's just a spare Demon Prince that they have laying around that I'm going to paint up in case somebody, manages to get the apotheosis result on the Eye of the Gods chart, so that way they become a Demon Prince. But yeah, that is the unit as well as army composition. Alright you guys, so there you have it. This is our studio's 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army that we'll be working on for the next few weeks and months actually to get these guys painted up and to bring to the tabletop. And then once we're done with that, we'll actually have 4 mono chaos themed armies for our channel, which would be actually kind of cool. Like I said before, the nice thing about this army is that it's some of it's, or about a third of it's already painted. Like these chariots, for example, they're fully painted. I just got to rebase them. Is all I'm doing for that, so that should go really quick. Same thing with these guys back here. A lot of these guys are already painted. I just need to base them real fast as all. And then from there I can just focus on the rest of the army. So this should go pretty quickly, just like how the army moves. So I'm really looking forward to working on it and getting it done as well. And if you've been following us on Facebook, you actually have seen these miniatures being painted over the time over the course of our channel, because I always put up, daily, almost daily posts on our Facebook account. Same thing with our Instagram account. So if you want to see exactly what we're doing for the hobby aspect of our channel, you can check that out as well. Alright you guys, so that's going to do it for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, and stay classy.